Hey everybody, Chris Naugle, America's #1 money mentor, and today I get to take you behind the scenes on how we help a client solve their money problems. And today we're going to help our client Maureen solve her problems called debt, college planning, as well as her goal of having a retirement home into her retirement years. So we're going to take you and show you how we use the financial butterfly effect, where we change just one thing in Maureen's life, and that one thing changes everything. Join us for this behind-the-scenes look of how the money multiplier solves her money problem. All right, Maureen, I am so excited. We've been working on this stuff for far too long, but now all of it is put together, ready to go. So what I want to do is I want to tell everybody your story. I want to talk about your money problems, not just problem, and I want to get into how we actually solve your money problems with this method called the money multiplier. So how you doing today?
Doing great, thanks.
Fantastic. Well, the first thing I really want to do is I want to help the audience really understand your situation. I'd like to walk through your life, the different things you're doing, like first starting with your goals and your problems. So let's start right there. Like, what are the main things that you really want to accomplish with the money multiplier method?
I want to pay off my debt.
Okay.
I have 3 kids in college. Well, 3 kids to be in college shortly. I want to buy a retirement house.
Okay, so first we want to pay off debt. So Maureen, with your debt, what kind of debts are the most important that we pay off?
I have credit card debt. I have a Discover card.
Well, we got credit cards. And is there any other debts outside of like the type of debts that we want to pay off? Like what other ones would we want to pay off?
My car loan. I have an Infinity.
Well, let's pay that Infinity off. All right, so these are the debts we want to pay off. Okay, so that's goal number 1 is pay off your debts. What about number 2? What would the second goal be?
College planning. I have 3 teenagers.
Oh boy.
One is 17, one is 14, and one is 13. So I'm going to have a lot of college bills. 17, 14, and 13? Correct.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's going to be a lot. So with the 17-year-old is going to school like right away, right?
Yeah, she starts in September.
In September. All right. Well, we want to take that down. So we got one starting immediately. All right. And how much do you think college is going to be for each kid? This is going to be a number that's going to scare me.
Yeah, it's scary, but I think I calculated it about $22,000 a year.
Per kid?
Per kid.
All right. $22,000 each child. Ouch. All right.
Ouch is right.
All right, so now we've got paying off your debts. We've got 3 kids going to school, so we got to get them into college and get that all paid for. What else? What else do you want to do?
I would love a retirement home in a nice warm climate. Florida, probably.
Yeah, that sounds really good because being here in New York, that's a little chilly. So you're just looking to get out of here. So retirement home, and let's define that. Let's call it Florida. So I don't know. Let's call that $250,000. Might even be a little more, but we're gonna say that's a $250,000 goal. All right. Well, let's see what that looks like real quick. All right. Is that pretty close to what you're looking for?
Absolutely. I could see myself sitting in that hammock.
All right, so we've got pay off debts. We've got college planning for the 3 kids. We want to pay for all their schools. We've got retirement home in Florida, roughly $250,000. What else are you looking to do?
I've always wanted a multifamily house for
Multifamily?
as rental property.
So you just want one, or you want a whole bunch of them?
I'll start with one, but that's how we have to start off, right?
That's right. So, all right, so we got a 4th goal. Let's throw that down here. And we want some multifamily rentals. All right, so we got a couple rentals in there. So now we've got all of our goals set up on the screen here. This is what we need to do. We need to solve all these goals, all these money problems, and we need to do it without you having to work any harder, without you having to work any longer, without you having to take on any additional risk, and most importantly, without you having to lose control of your money. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Great. So now in order to do that, what we got to know is we got to know, what are you doing today? Like, what does your current picture look like today? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start another screen here. And I want to kind of, now that we know what your goals are, let's talk about where your money goes today. So first and foremost, like, what is your household income looking like today? So let me just put this up here. Because remember, the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to change anything. We don't want to change you saving more. I know when I was a financial advisor, the number one thing I always had to do is I had to ask people, how much money are you saving? And if they said, okay, I'm saving this, and I would say, all right, can you save more? The answer was always no. So the next thing came with, if you can't save more, can you take on more risk, right? Save more or take on more risk. Well, nobody likes that. So how about we don't save any more money, and how about we take on a lot less risk than what you're doing now and accomplish the goals doing it that way? That's what I want to do. So first off, tell me a little bit about, your income. So I know right now, I know you work for the government, so one of the good things about the government is your benefit package, which we're going to talk about when we get to the retirement. But tell me a little bit about, like, what does your income look like?
I make $160,000 a year.
Okay, so we got 160. And then you're married, so we got Benjamin. What is Benjamin's income for household income?
He makes $106,000 a year.
Okay, so we got 106. So if this is your gross income you bring in, there's a lot of things that come out of that, like taxes and everything else. What do you bring home on a monthly basis?
I bring home $7,600 a month.
All right, $7,600. And then what does Ben bring home?
$4,812 a month.
$4,812?
Correct.
Okay, so this is kind of where we're at now. So you got a total household income after the math of about $12,412 a month, $148,944 a year. But what is that going to look like? Now, you told me earlier you're retiring soon, right? When are you going to retire?
22 months.
Whew. All right, so we got 22 months until you retire. So we got that up there. So what does life look like after retirement? I mean, does your income change a lot? Like, what happens after you retire?
We take half of what we made, and that's going to be our income. We're both government employees.
All right, well, let's do some quick math here. So if we fast forward and we look at today being retirement, what does your income look like?
My pension will be $85,000 a year.
Okay, so 85 a year. That's about $7,083 a month. Okay, and then we got Benjamin.
And his will be $60,000 a year.
Whew. All right, so right now your household income with both of you working is $148. With you retiring, your household income is $145 or $12,083. So you're going to take a big haircut when you retire. I'm just kidding. Like, you're right there. But you know what I got to say? I drew this little thing. I'm not going to draw it out, but this little shark here sitting on this lawn chair with a margarita. Goodbye tension, hello pension. Because I'm sure a government job has lots of stress that comes along with it, doesn't it?
A lot of stress, yes.
All right, so this is our current income. Now let's do another one. Let's go into your current savings plan, because all we want to do is we just want to change one thing in your life. That's all we want to do. We want to change that one thing, which is where your money goes first. And that one change will change everything. We'll solve all of those goals. We'll pay down your debt. We'll pay for the college. We'll buy that dream home out there in Florida and get you some multifamily houses in the future sometime. So if we got to change one thing, we got to change where your current assets are going. So I got to know what you've got going on. So what do your current assets look like?
We put into our deferred comp, our 457 plan.
Okay. And you're both doing this, correct?
Correct.
All right. And how much are you putting into the deferred comp? So let's do you first.
The exact amount is $2,999.56 a month. And that's because I'm over 50 and I'm able to do the catch-up.
All right, so let's make sure people know that, because a lot of people are going to think, if you're putting that much in, what can I? No, that you have a catch-up contribution that you're able to do. And then where else are you putting money?
I have a Roth IRA, self-directed,
Ooh, hang on. Most important, folks, notice self-directed Roth IRA. None of those old traditional ones. So we're going to take that traditional investment plan and we're going to get rid of it and welcome to the new world. So we got self-directed Roth IRA. And how much are you contributing to that every year?
It's $7,000 a month because I could do the catch up.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I could do $7,000 because I'm over 50.
Yep. So we
and
got
that's
that catch up.
$583.33 a month.
All right, Maureen. So in your deferred comp and your Roth IRA, your self-directed Roth IRA, you're putting about $3582.89 a month away. Works out to be about $42,994 a year. That's what you're putting away now. But one thing we got to remember is this up here, the $35,994 that you're doing into that deferred comp, that's going to stop in 22 months when you retire, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we can kind of count that, but we got to kind of discount that because we're not going to be saving that amount of money. But what we can count 100% is this. We can count that $7,000 because we know that is going to continue being saved. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to change where this money goes first. So how we're going to do that is this money right here, we're just going to reposition this money and we're going to move where it goes. We're going to move it into this concept called infinite banking concept or the money multiplier method. Let's go into your assets. So real quick, let's talk a little bit about all the assets that you've got. All right, so Maureen, just kind of let's go through and talk about your assets. So what do we got? You said you have money in savings, right?
Yes, I have $25,000 in my savings account.
How do you feel about those savings accounts? What are you making in your savings account right now?
Pretty much nothing.
They're not giving you anything.
Pretty much, I would go with nothing.
All right. I was going to give them a little bit of credit and actually say that you were earning 1%, but it's nothing. So we're going to put a big old fat 0 here, and you know that 0 is not big enough. So you're earning 0% interest. All right. What else do we got going on?
I have a business savings account with $67,000.
What's the purpose of the business savings?
I'm looking for the right piece of real estate that I'm going to buy.
Is that for those multifamilies, or is that the dream?
Yeah, for the multifamily.
Multifamilies, okay.
My self-directed IRA has $18,000 in it.
All right.
My husband's self-directed IRA has $8,000. And my deferred comp is at $389,000. And Ben's deferred comp is at $370,000. And last but not least, I put into the kids' 529 college plans.
Okay. And how much are you putting into those?
$6,200 a year.
$6,200 a year for all 3 kids, or for?
For all 3, yes.
Okay, for all 3, we got $6,200 going there. Perfect. And how much of a balance? Do you carry a balance in there right now?
Yes, it's at $26,000.
Okay, so that's our current assets. We're making nothing on the savings. So here's what we got to do. We got to change this. Folks, you also remember in Maureen's planning, one of the things she had a really good nest egg for her retirement. We didn't even talk about that. But what we did here is we created more wealth for her by taking back money she was giving away. We didn't exclude the money that she had saved. She's going to live a really good retirement. She's got plenty of income coming in and lots of assets to help her build the next phase of her life. You should do the same. I can't have you earning 0% on $25,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift this over into this privatized banking, infinite banking concept. Goes by lots of different names. You know, the one thing too that we didn't really talk about yet, like, how did you hear about this? How did we come to meet, and how did you find out about what privatized banking is in the money multiplier?
I think I saw it on Facebook, on a Facebook ad that popped up.
So you're on Facebook, a Facebook ad pops right up, and you're just like, oh, this looks great. I'm going to put all my money into this.
No, I do my due diligence, and I ordered your book, and I enjoyed it. I read it from cover to cover in like 2 days, and you had me hooked.
I'm actually pretty excited that you read my book, and just for that selfless plug, this is the book you read?
That's the book.
All right. So after you read the book, what was the first thing you thought about this concept? Like, what were you thinking after you saw the Facebook ad, you read the book, and you did your due diligence? What's the first thing that came across your mind?
How fast can I start this?
How fast can I start this? I love it. All right, so we're going to take that $25,000 that you have in savings, and we're going to redirect it over here. We're going to take the money that you're putting into this Roth IRA, we're going to redirect that. And then you know what? We want to pay the college off, right? We want to pay for college for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
So let's take this $6,200 and let's redirect that as well. All right, so as you can see here, and as the audience can see, the main thing we're doing is changing where your money goes first. We're changing where your savings goes first. We're changing where your self-directed Roth IRA contributions go first, not the money that's already in there, okay, because we're going to leave that for retirement. And then we're going to change where this money is being, we're going to redirect your college planning, because first off, I've never been a fan of 529 plans. The traditional places where you put money for college savings, like 529, savings accounts, brokerage accounts, all of those assets are countable assets when it comes to filing your FAFSA forms. These assets, these specially designed and engineered whole life insurance policies, they are excluded assets, meaning when you fill out the FAFSA form, none of these assets will count toward your financial aid. So we're going to get that into a better place, and by doing this, by just changing where your existing savings goes, I can almost tell you, well, we've already done all the math, but we can solve all these money problems, but there's a catch. There's a catch, and I think you're going to like it. But before we get into that, we got one more thing to do. I need to understand your debts. I need to understand what your expenses and your debts are. All right, so let's walk through your debts. Let's start right from the top. Should I leave a lot of room?
I have a Discover card.
Okay. All right.
With a balance of $22.45.
What else?
Ben's Discover. So we each have our own.
Okay. How much is on Ben's?
$7,145.
Okay. What else?
I have a TD Ameritrade, and the balance is $3,351.
Okay.
Then I have one last Visa at $5,881. That's a Chase Visa.
All right, so those are the credit cards. What else do we got?
And now I have my car loan, my Infinity. And the balance is $14,000.
Okay. Any other debts that you've got out there?
I have a business credit card that I use only for the business, and that's at $14,774.
14,000. Say that one more time.
$14,774.
And that's Marriott?
Marriott Chase.
All right, so because this is business, we're just going to put this in blue, and we're going to call this business because we want to keep that completely separate. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's add all this stuff up here. I'm actually scared to see what this adds up to.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so we've got a total of $42,396 in credit card and car loans debts. So that's not too terrible, not terrible for the amount of income, but let's see how much money right now you're giving away to everybody else. So that's the thing I always like to talk about. If you want to truly build wealth, one of the things you should always think about doing is not going out working more, working longer, taking more risk. I like to think of taking back the money that you're giving away to everybody else, because building wealth would be a lot more fun if all we did is took back all the money that we're giving away to everybody else. So let's talk about all these debts and how much money are you giving away. So out of all these, how much is being given away? I'm going to actually say given away. So on that Discover credit card, how much goes out the door every month?
$200 a month.
Okay, how about Ben's Discover card?
$200 a month.
Okay. And then TD Ameritrade?
$149 a month.
That Visa Chase card?
$214 a month.
All right, how about that Infinity card?
$468 a month.
And then last is that business card. So you owed $14,774. How much is going out the door every month on that?
$446 a month.
Hey folks, one of the big things I teach all the time is taking back control of your money. If you look at where all your money goes, seriously, take a second and write on a piece of paper where all your money goes. You'll see that your money's going a lot of the same places that Maureen's was. You're giving your good dollars away, and you need to keep those dollars. When credit cards are charging you 15, 20, 24% interest, all you need to do to build wealth is take that money back. This is the method you should use to do that. The money multiplier is exactly what you need. Okay, so now the other thing is we know if we paid all these debts off, if we got rid of every one of these debts, you'd be able to put $1,677 every single month back in your pocket. So that would be fun, but what would that be? A lot of times when we invest money, whether it's in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, the traditional places people put money, we're always looking for a return on our investment, a rate of return. So what if we paid all these off? What kind of return would you actually be making on that money? Well, the easiest way to figure that out is to go and look at how much is Discover charging you per year in interest? How much is TD Ameritrade and Visa and Infinity? So let's go through that. Do you know the percentages that they're charging you on these loans?
Yes.
Oh boy. All right.
Discover is 24.24%. I wish I didn't know, but I do now.
All right. How about Ben's Discover? Same?
Same, 24.24.
All right. How about TD Ameritrade?
22.99.
All right. Visa?
22.99.
You ever think these credit card companies get together and kind of plan this stuff out?
I do.
Seems ironic. How about that Infinity car loan? That should be pretty low, right?
Yeah, that's at 2.39.
Much better. And then how about that Marriott Chase business card?
22.99. The common theme.
I think they're all secretly getting together and having a party. All right. So if we take the average of all of those and add them up, that's a 19.99% average rate of return you're giving away. Literally, that money's leaving your household every single month, and it's going to somebody else, not you. Would you be okay making 19.99% on that deferred comp investment that you've got?
Absolutely.
Would you like to make 19.99% on that savings account you got?
Absolutely.
All we need to do is change one thing and then take back all of this money that you're giving away, and that's the exact return. This is the part where a lot of people really struggle. I think they struggle because they think that making these returns involves taking a lot more risk. But really, if we just focus on where the money goes and how much of your money is going to somebody else, we can really start getting a picture of how easy it is to really take back the wealth or create new wealth, because it's right there. I would love to get a 19.99% return on any investment I did, and all I'd have to do is pay off these credit cards. Folks, it's that simple. Maureen, it's that simple. This is all we got to do. We got to get rid of this, create $1,677 every single month in your household, and we make 19.99%. I like this, man. I like where this is going. All right, so we got your debts. Now let's talk about your expenses. So tell me a little bit about the expenses that you have in your household.
My kids go to private school, so that's $13,000 a year.
$13K.
Each child, $13,000.
All right, so we've got 26,000 for the two younger ones, and then private school. So I'm going to write Lindsay separate, okay? Because I know she's going to college, so she's going to be graduating from school, not the other graduation. I mean the graduation from school here. So she's 13,000, and let's see, let's do the monthlies on that. So that means you got 2166 a month going out the door there. Let's put 13 here again. All right, so the private schooling, so we've got 3 children going to private school, costing you about $39,000 a year or $3,250 a month if I do the math correctly. So now that we know that, what are some future expenses? Do we have any future expenses coming up?
College for Lindsay, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to scare you about a little bit. So
it does scare me.
So we've got college at, well, for 3 children times $22,000 a year. So that means we've got a college expense, roughly.
Oh, I don't want to see that number. Oh.
I know, I'm writing it, whether you like it or not. $176,000.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to then talk a little bit about, do you have any other, what about household expenses? We didn't hit that one. How much is your household expenses?
My household is $8,840.56 a month.
Okay. So based on this, let's see. So one of the big goals we're going to do is we want to take this money back, okay? So that's number one priority. We want to make 19.99% on your money and not give it to them. We want to make sure that we cover this college number, because that's a big number. We want to make sure we can pay that off. Household expenses will come out of income. And then I think the private school, how are you funding that now? Is that coming out of savings? Is that coming out of any, or is it just coming out of income?
It's just coming out of income wherever we can find it.
Perfect. Hey, Maureen, I know this number looked like a big number to you, but I did the math wrong. So 22,000 times 3 kids is not 176.
Less?
Panel, how much is 3 times $22,000?
$264,000.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Yeah, when you're talking and writing and adding, it just sometimes you just miss a couple numbers. That's a big miss. Education is super important and it's extremely expensive. So it's not throwing money away. You're investing in your children's futures. And why not get all the money back for doing that by following this process? All right, we're going on to the next one. Here's what we basically do for you, Maureen. We built the plan for you, all right? So we went in and we designed your banking policy. Now, this banking policy, and let me ask you, when you first read the book or saw the video and you found out that this was a whole life insurance policy, what was your thought?
I really didn't know what to think, because I don't...
What do you think of when someone says whole life insurance policy?
Just, it's a death benefit, not a banking system.
Right. And that's what most people think. And I think the gurus out there, they say it's the worst investment on earth. And would you agree with that?
No, not at all anymore.
I do, though, because you know what? It's not an investment. So an investment involves risk. But you see, this system, this whole life insurance policy, and I want to be very clear, I know you know this, but everybody else doesn't. This is not your off-the-shelf whole life. This isn't you walking into the insurance store and buying a whole life from your financial advisor or your life insurance agent. This is specifically engineered and designed for banking, okay? So it's totally different. And because it's a whole life policy, it has one unique thing, and that is a guarantee. And people love guarantees. This thing is guaranteed to pay you no less than 4%. Okay, that's your guaranteed interest that you're going to earn on this little bugger right here. And not only does it pay you a guaranteed interest of 4%, that's why it's not an investment. That's why I love when I hear the gurus say whole life insurance is the worst investment on earth. I agree. I'm like, yes, you're right. It's not an investment at all. It's guaranteed. I don't know too many other guaranteed places you can put money, maybe treasury bonds, maybe T-bills, and your savings account. But you already told me your savings account pays you 0. Okay, so even if you were earning 1%, you're still losing to inflation. So this is the plan design we put together for you. This plan design is built for your specific needs and goals. There's not one plan design that's the same. This one is very unique to what we're trying to do. Pay off your debts, pay for college, which is more of a longer term goal, get yourself a retirement house, and then buy some multifamilies. Those are your main goals. And I've got some news for you that we're going to get into later. You better start thinking of some bigger goals, because we're going to have, I think, a lot more money than what you're going to need just to solve those. But we're going to do it by using this boring, old, whole life insurance policy designed for banking. So that guaranteed 4%, that doesn't excite too many people. But every single year, these insurance companies, these are mutually owned insurance companies. Therefore, they pay a dividend. They share every single year the surplus assets that they don't use with their policyholders. So that dividend, I'll tell you in this plan right now, your dividend rate this year, going into 2021, okay, because we're almost done with 2020. We're going into 2021, your dividend is 2%. So this plan is going to make you a guaranteed 4% plus 2% dividend. That means you're making 6%. How do you feel about making 6% on your money?
I love it.
We spend extensive time looking at your needs and your goals. And you know, Maureen, I'd love to say we do this just for you because you're so special, but this is how we help every money multiplier client. Every single client that we work with, we understand your needs, your goals, your current situation, your current savings and income plan, and what we do is, without changing any of that stuff, but we change one thing, and we change where that money goes. If you remember in the beginning, I said we're going to redirect some of those assets. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to redirect it, and in that redirect, we're going to literally pay off all your debts. We're going to fund all your kids' college tuitions at $22,000 a year. Then somewhere in the middle of there, we're going to buy yourself that house in Florida for $250,000. Heck, if you want to spend more than $250,000, be my guest. We got to have a number to plan for. And then after that, we're going to buy some multifamily rentals that are going to complement that pension and complement those retirement dollars that you've saved so diligently, because really, I mean, you've worked most of your working life to save and to get all those assets built up. Now what we need to do is make sure that those assets don't disappear. We need to make sure that those assets continue to stay with your family so that you're not giving them away, you're not giving up control of them, and we protect them. And the other thing we're going to do, just as a little side project, is we're going to provide a legacy. Because like most people already know, a whole life insurance policy, they didn't know that they could use it for banking like you didn't, but one thing they do now know is it's going to pay a death benefit upon your graduation. And by graduation, I mean the day you die. I just don't like saying die. So we're going to call it graduate. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. So our team, our mapping team, went back and literally created a map. Now, because we have multiple goals going on, because we have multiple things happening all at the same time, this might be one of the most complicated maps that we've ever created, because we literally have to have your money doing multiple things at the exact same time to solve your goals. But we put it together, and it's a lot of numbers. I want to prepare you for that. It's a lot of numbers, but you don't have to do any of those numbers. All you have to do in this process is decide to change one thing, and you already did that, which is how we're going to arrive at these numbers. We do all this work. We don't charge you anything for it. You're never going to write a check to Chris Naugle. You're never going to write a check to the Money Multiplier. You're just going to make deposits into your new infinite banking policy to solve your problems. Fair enough? All right, Maureen, so here's one of the tools that we create for you. So we do several tools with our mapping team. Our mapping team puts together a Cashflow tool. We also put together a map, which is very amazing for you. I can't wait to get into that. But let's talk a little bit about this right here. This is your cash flow. So this is where we actually take all the numbers from the insurance company's illustration. We actually show you how much money you're going to have each year. And you know, the most important thing about the cash flow is that we see, where does your plan actually break even? And what I mean by break even is, you know, the fun part where if you deposit, because we're putting $50,000 into your plan for the first 10 years. Okay, this is just your plan. We also built plans for all of your children so that we can fund their college. But the break-even point is the point at which where you're putting money in, you actually get more than what you put in. Now, one of the things a lot of people seem to want to really hone in on the infinite banking concept is they always want to say, yeah, but if I put my money in a savings account, I'd have access to all of that money. totally understand that, right? Because in this one, if you put 50,000 in, you only have access in the first year to 30,193. Okay, it's roughly about 60%. So we have access to roughly about 60% of that money. But the cool thing is that $50,000 that we deposited, remember, that's earning 4% plus dividends. So you're earning 6% as of 2021 with this company, okay, with the new dividend scales. So if you put 50 in this plan and you take out 30,193, which is your cash flow, which is why we do this, you're still earning interest and dividends on the full 50. So if I asked you, would you rather have access to all 50,000 and earn nothing, or would you rather have access to 30,000 and earn interest and dividends on 100%?
100%.
All right, so you want the interest and dividends. So then the most important part is at what point are we able to take out more than what we put in? This is my favorite part. And this is the worst case scenario that we're going to look at. This cash flow shows your guaranteed values, which remember guaranteed is just the 4%. Okay? But never once in history, 168 years for the company that we're doing this with, never once have they not paid a dividend. So if I use your guaranteed column, I'm literally saying that something is going to happen that hasn't happened in 168 years. So we don't usually use the guaranteed column, but we do show it because we want you to see no matter what, if all you ever earned was 4%, this is how much money you're going to have. But we want to use the projected cash flow, which is a projection of today's dividend. And the nicest thing about this dividend, I don't know if you know this, but this dividend that we get on this plan is the lowest it's ever been in 30 years. So for 30 years with this insurance company, this is the lowest dividend they've ever paid. So I'd like to say that in the future, it might be likely that dividends would go up, but we're not going to do that. All we're going to do is look at today's dividend. So where does your plan actually break even? Well, if year 2 we put in 50, we have 32. Not so good. A lot of people don't get excited about that. But year 3 you put in 50 and now you have 49,335. And if you never took money out for 3 years, you'd have 111,675. You see, we're keeping track of how much cumulative cash value you have, but we're also keeping track of how much cash flow you have, because here's why. We want every year to use whatever your projected cash flow is. Because we know if we keep the money in there, you're going to earn 6% with dividend. But if we take all the money out, you're still going to earn 6% with the interest and dividends. So why would you leave the money in when you can take it out and earn the same amount? Well, the insurance company, when you take money out, they do charge you interest, 5% simple interest. So here's the cool thing. Remember that savings account that you said you earned nothing on? So if the insurance company charges you 6, or if you are getting paid 6, and the insurance company is taking 5% simple interest, how much did you make? You made 1%, right? In the very first year, you made 1% on your money if you took all of your money out, if you could. Your bank account doesn't even pay you 1%. And here, if it was allowed, you could take all that money out and never, ever have to worry about not making money. That's the beauty of uninterrupted compound interest, but it gets even better. And we're going to show you what uninterrupted compound interest looks like. But right here, so year 4, you put in 50,000 and you have 51,829 to take out. What do you think of that?
I like it.
Okay, but let's go forward. How about year 10? Year 10, you put in 50,000, and in year 10, you have 69,861 you can take out. Now, is that a pretty good return on your money? We're going to look at returns later and a little bit later in this tool, but like the thing I love most about this, it doesn't matter where we go. So year 15, you put in 20, and year 15, you have 54,000. So in other words, you give me 20 grand, I give you 54 back. Who's winning in that game? Folks, this is the power of uninterrupted compound interest. Maureen, this is why we do this. Yes, do we give up a little access to money in the first couple of years? We do, but look at what we get. And I'm going to show you how this thing works. We put in 700,000 over 25 years, you got 1.4 million. And if for some reason, and we never talk about this because we don't build these for that death benefit, that graduation date, but if that ever happened, it's not going to be such a bad thing, because if something happened to you, you got hit by a bus, I always call that the bus fund, about $1 million and $1,030,000 would be paid out immediately. But as we keep going, that number goes up. So if in the 10th year you got hit by a bus, 1.8 million gets paid to your beneficiaries tax-free. You see, we're not only covering you and giving you access to use your money while you're living, but we also give you money if something happens and you graduate that goes to your family. So we're providing a legacy, which we don't ever talk about, but I wanted to make sure that we made that very clear that you do have a legacy. So all we did here is we basically do these cash flows just to show you how much money you have every single year. So folks, I'm sure you're looking at these cash-on-cash returns going, wow, that's impressive. But you know what's even more impressive? Not having to pay tax on the internal buildup of the cash value. Now that's even more impressive. So if you really dive into why this has been a secret of the wealthy, there is no tax on the gains if done properly. So folks, check with your CPA, but these plans can provide tax-free income. All right, so Maureen, one of the other things we did is we designed a plan for each of your children to fund their college, because that's a really important thing. So we just took the money that you used to put away into the 529, and we just shifted that 529 money over to the kids' college savings plans. So we've got the plan for Alexander, we've got the plan for Connor. These are all the same, so we're putting $5,000 in for the first 10 years, and then after that, it's going to drop to $2,000 because of some rules. The IRS has specific rules where we can't put money in past a certain point in time because it's called the MEC 7 pay. We're not really going to cover that, but that's how we designed these. We designed them solely to basically be able to put money in and take money right out for their college. Because one of the things too, I think a lot of people don't understand about the way we build these whole life policies is when you make a deposit into these plans, whether it's your plan or the kids' plans, we have access to that money immediately. Immediately in the first 30 days, we can put money in and take money out. For example, if we put $5,000 in Alexander's policy, how much can we take out? We can take out $32.13 immediately, okay? We have access to this money, and that's the beautiful thing, because I'm always talking about controlling your money. You have to have control, and in control comes liquidity. You need access to the money. So we give you that full access. Now, let's just take a look at these ones, because these are smaller plans. Where do these plans break even? So if we put $5,000 in, it's the same thing. So right here, year 4, we put $5,000 in, and you have $5,084. So it took 4 years to have more money than what you deposit going forward. The 5th year, you put 5 in, you get 52. If we go down to the 10th year, you put 5 in, you got 66. I mean, these returns start getting nutty. 15th year, you put 2,000 in. I don't know. You get $5,000. You put 2 in, take 5,007 out, and again, what you're also doing for the kids is even though you're the owner of these plans, they're the insured, so therefore you control the money, but if anything ever happened or down the line, let's say they go off and they have children and they've got their own families, they've got a life insurance death benefit attached. So again, we're fixing that legacy piece, plus we're giving access to cash.